Kids, aloha. I told you I wasn't going to be very long. It only took a few hours, but you wouldn't know if it took a few hours or a few minutes. We're still on the same Sunday. I told you I'd have back to back some days when I'd miss a Sunday, and you wouldn't even have known that unless I was telling you the truth that I did. It was in the back a few months ago. I felt really bad about it. So that's why I just did the hospital, negative place, and the next negative place was jail. When you go to jail, it's negative. That's why I'm telling you, kids. I'm telling you that, well, you might know somebody, might be in your family, might be maybe one or both of your parents or guardians that might be in jail right now. But kids, you know what? When you go and visit them, hopefully you get to visit them. They're going to tell you that this is not a place that you want to be. This is the very last place you want to be, in jail. Well, some people say on this little planet we're in jail. I guess it depends how you look at it. Could be heaven, could be the reverse of heaven. To some extent, we are all in jail. We're stuck inside this body because we got this body, as I said before. We have an emotional body, we have a mental body, we have a spiritual body. That's just four bodies that some people can't even think of because they can't see it, they can't touch it, they can't feel it. But there are some people out there that would agree with Uncle Martin, and there's some people that would say that they would disagree, which is fine. That's what we're here for, to learn and hopefully be concerned of what we're learning. So this episode, well, first of all, again, kids, hopefully these people that you do know that it's in jail are telling you that it's a negative place to be. Anybody that's saying, well, next time it's not going to happen because they've learned more and they're going to get away with whatever it is they're getting away with. But there is no getting away with anything here on this little planet. You don't get away with anything. Even these people that are so high up there in money, and it would appear that I know nobody's above the law, but people that are getting away with, well, you're looking at it as negative things, but they're looking at it as positive things because they're now multimillionaires. Or not. They're just getting away with it. But are they really? No, you're not getting away with anything. That's the beauty of not judging someone, kids. Because that is the beauty of the law, the karmic law. What you give out positively, you get back tenfold. What you give out negatively, you get back tenfold. And that's what we're here to learn, that there is no escaping this. That's why we're here. That's why we're all here back again. Everybody talks about past lives. They were this, they were that. They were a pharaoh, they were a queen, they were a saint, they were a sage, they were a murderer, there was a killer, you were a prince, you were a pauper. We were all these things so many times. But you know what? What did we learn? Well, we definitely, our heart flame did learn something because your heart will always learn. That's why your heart has a consciousness that when your heart says something to you, it's pretty much true. When your mind is telling you things, it can go be either way. Mind is a little brittle sometimes. And that's why everybody says the mind, go for the mind. No, go for the heart. And then from the heart, you have the connection to the mind. And hopefully we understand that there is our subconscious, our conscious, and our higher self, always working with us or against us. When we have those emotions going up and not controlling them, there's always a problem that turns out negatively. I've mentioned this in the past. This thumbnail, as I said just a few minutes ago, a couple hours ago, the thumbnail is hot beans. It was when I was in jail. And hopefully, kids, anyone that's around you is telling you right now, kids, that jail is negative. Even though there's some people in jail that don't belong there, they're still finding out it's negative. So when Uncle Martin was there, he didn't have to go there, is what I'm saying. But because I understand karma, I just figured, yeah, I might as well get rid of it now. I don't want to come back and take care of this situation. I want to. Actually, I was kind of looking forward to it. I don't know. It's a crazy thing. Not that I was looking forward to it, but I was taking responsibility for my actions, which we all have to do on some level, kids. I'm going to still say if you can avoid going there, absolutely avoid going there. But in Uncle Martin's case, it was just one of his many experiences that he has had to endure. So hot beans. I know cold beans, hot beans. Hey, cool beans. Isn't that a saying, cool beans? Bro used to just open up that can and eat those beans cold. I could never do that. I always had to heat my beans up. But I'm not going to go there. I'm on the farm, and this is the story how it goes. On the farm at the time, they had whites and blues. The blues were the people working outside. The whites were the guys that worked in the kitchen. So I was a kitchen person. I think they had a resume of what you did before whatever. What did you do before you got here was the questionnaire. So I said, my aunts had restaurants. I worked in the restaurants. Nah. So I guess that's why they gave me that job. They gave me a job. Um, I don't know why they picked me. They just maybe it was just, I know I took somebody's job because he said, I was next and you took my job. I said, well, I'm sorry. This is the way they feel about it. They feel that they want me to serve them their food. The guards wanted me to serve their food. I don't know. I don't know how it happened that way. It was, I don't know. I guess one of them said, "We can trust you. You look trustworthy. We trust you. You're going to have this job, serving us the food, bringing the cart to them. Just get the food on there. Make sure I put the food on there and get the food to them. That was my job." Well, amongst making sandwiches and stuff, and I'll get to the sandwiches in just a minute. Put that on the back shelf. So the guy that said, I don't know what name we can put him as the guy that I took his job. See, he was third down, and the other two people. See, I guess you have a list on what jobs you want to do. Like there's carpentry, which is really rare to get into. The going out and killing the animals, the harvested animals there. You could be growing corn. I was thinking about growing corn, by the way. But then there was working in the field. There was working in the kitchen. Whatever other ones, it doesn't come to mind. I was going for that corn though, but then they put this all upon me that I was serving their food. And that guy kept saying, "You took my job." He might have been a mortal enemy now that I'm thinking about it. So he kept saying that, and I wanted to know why. He says because he was third down, the other one guy left, and he was second. Then the other guy left, he was next. And then I come in. I've only been there a week, and now I got his job. I said, well, there must be a reason for this. To look at him, you could see why. Maybe I'm not being judgmental. So he was friends, the guy that I took his job, with another guy we'll call Slim. He's the guy with the big butcher knife. So, I'll get to that. I might as well get to it now, all right? I'm going to get done with this thumbnail because I'm keeping this one short. Hot beans. So we'll call the guy with the butcher knife Slim because he looked just like one of those. You know the guys. It was like 1980. Marcia, the nurse I was with, we went to a Galloway. Was it George Galloway? Galloway, the guy that plays the flute, fantastic flute player. Galloway, that guy. And then in intermission time, they had the jugglers that came in. The jugglers, they pinball, bowling balls. They were chainsaws. They were jugglers. These jugglers. This guy looked just like. In fact, that's it. Jerry Seinfeld. Perfect. Jerry Seinfeld had these jugglers that I saw in 1980 in ASU in Tempe, Arizona. What a coincidence that these guys would be on Jerry Seinfeld, because I said those are the same guys that were juggling in that Galloway thing. It was the episode where the juggler, I don't know if they were juggling. Were they juggling? They were doing something. And Jerry and the gang were up on the stage, up high up, and somehow the jackets, they got switched around. Remember the guy with the long hair? Looked just like Slim. I wonder if he had a brother. Probably not. But he looked like that kind of guy. I'm just trying to give you a visual of the way the guy looked. So Slim had this. Okay, this is how it worked. I had to make 52 sandwiches every morning. I made 52, and the guy that I took his job, he had to make 52. Wonder Bread. Wonder Bread has iron to it. Yeah, it has a lot of other stuff that I never was eating before the time until I got to jail. They were feeding you bologna sandwiches, for crying out loud. And I that's what little secret, kids. When you make more than one sandwich for yourself and you have to make like 52, I think it was like 4 loaves of bread. And anyway, you lay it out on a big table. Lay the sandwiches out on both sides. So mayo on one side, mustard on the other, and bologna in the middle. So when we put it together, my 102 sandwiches, well, not 102, 72, 25, 52, yeah, 52. See, numbers. I had 52 sandwiches to do, and the guy that I took his job, he had 52 sandwiches. So that's 104. So we had 104 sandwiches to make every morning. Well, then there was another guy that had the knife. Slim had the knife, and he was supposed to cut the sandwiches diagonally, not straight, but it was diagonal they wanted. And then after that, I guess it was my job to wrap up my 52, and the guy that I took his job wrapped up 52. And the guy with the knife seemed to always hold on to the knife for some reason. I guess he carved things too. He was a carver. So this one particular day, I remember it well. After I wrapped up all 52 of my sandwiches, the guy with the knife was standing behind me. When I turned around, there was like this breeze. It was a breeze. I felt a breeze. But no windows were open or anything. And it felt like, if I didn't know better, because I had shoulder length hair, and it felt like some of my hairs might have been touched by a breeze. And when I turned around, Slim was holding the knife, smiling. And if I didn't know better, I think he might have went down the back of my neck, down by my spine. It was like that kind of feeling. Somebody went like with a knife. So when I turned around, I looked at him, and he had glee in his eyes. He was very happy that he did this. And I know what I think? I think he was trying to get fear. He was trying to get fear from me. And I looked right at him like didn't have any fear, because I knew it was negative. Plus, this is a farm where the security is a lot less than if you were real jail. So I figured, maybe he's just trying to scare me. I'm not going to give him any fear, okay? So he got really upset at that. I noticed his face and wasn't smiling anymore. So I walked away with the sandwiches, and I guess it was about lunchtime when all the crew in whites, we got our lunch. And I saw Slim and the guy that I took his job talking. They were talking to each other, and then they went over to this black fella. He was about a head taller than me. Kind of a big guy. And they started talking to him. And I noticed that Slim was pointing his finger at me. Now, by this time, I'm thinking, maybe it's a mistaken identity thing. Or maybe they're pointing at somebody else. That's what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking really they were pointing at me. And so what do we have? We had hot beans. And you know how I like bean and cheese burritos. If you don't know, I grew up on them. So I'm kind of favored. I like that. So I had some tortillas and I had a big, okay. You could put a main on, everybody knows the trays, right? I don't know about that they're threes. They're three. You got like a dessert side, a vegetable side, and a main course side. Well, I had all three of those with my hot beans and my tortillas. So I went out toward it was kind of like a window area, and it's outside the kitchen area, but it's kind of a seating area, maybe a mop room. There was mops and stuff around and pails and stuff. So I took one of the pails, I put it upside down, and I put my tray of beans on that, and then I sat on a stool, and actually I had picked them up, and I was eating my beans, and then this black fella comes walking right up to me, standing right in front of me, and I'm looking up at him, and he's looking down at me and saying, "Why did I call him?" Now I'm just going to say the N word. And most of you know that it's a very negative word. So I've never called anybody that anyway, but apparently these two guys said that I did call him that name. And this guy didn't look like all the faculties might have been there. I don't know. I'm not judging, but he kept saying that he wasn't going to put up with that. That I was going to have to fight him. And as we well know, kids, when you go to jail, you don't want to fight anybody. Know why? Do you know why? Because you stay there longer. That's what happens. You get out on good behavior. By the way, the judge said to me that I had to go there a half a year. That was like 6 months. And if I good behavior, I get out in 90 days. And I was shooting for the 90 days rather than a half a year, definitely. So what I did was I kept that in mind. I said, "You want to fight me? What did I do? I didn't do that. These guys are not telling you the truth." And I'm looking right at these guys. And they're smiling because they've already told this gentleman a lie that he now believes. And there was not much I could do about it, except keep eating my hot beans. Because you're not going to bother me, buddy. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to make my good behavior. So as I'm eating my beans, I believe that's when he kicked the bucket that I had in front of me and said again he was going to fight me. I said, "No, I don't think so." So what does he do? What does he do? He gets his right foot, he kicks my plate of beans all over me, in my face. It's dripping down in my face. And it's all over my whites. It looks like I almost have a brown shirt. All the gravy, it's all over me. I started getting a little upset. And I understood what the subconscious does. That's where you get your emotions, kids, from your subconscious. It's whether you're going to control it or not. I did something really negative. I stood up and I said, "You want to fight? You want to fight me?" And I forgot about the arm wrestling. You never start a fight. You never run from one. So I wasn't running. I wasn't going anywhere. I was going to say, "You want to fight?" But I forgot about the arm wrestling. Never forget about the arm wrestling, kids. Ever, ever, ever. Always arm wrestle. I should have said, "Hey, we're going to arm wrestle first." I didn't do that. I said, "You want to fight me? I'll be you." And what stopped me was Slim, the guy likes the knife. He says, "No, don't do it here. Do it in there." And it was a big walk-in refrigerator. So him and the guy that I took his job, they opened up the big door. They said, do it in here. It's quiet in here. You don't want the guards to know about this. I said, yeah, sounds positive to me. So I go in. Actually, the black fellow went in first. And then I followed him. And then they closed the door. And then the light went on because it was a lighted air, or did we have to turn the switch on? No. The door shut and the light came on. It was one of those. So I have my back. It's up size. What's the size? Good 14 by 14. It's a big walk-in refrigerator. It had all the shelving like you normally have, but it was like a small boxing ring, basically, with no ring. Just that would be the shelving, would be the ring. So my back was against one of them, and his back would be more toward the door. And now he's looking at me, and he's calling me more names. He's trying to incite me because I'm kind of cooled down now. I'm in the cooler. And I'm starting to reassess what I'm doing there. I did say I was going to fight him, but now I'm recanting. Man, I don't really want to do this. Do I really want to? I was waiting for him to throw a punch, but for me to do it, to start it, no. So I think that's what he was thinking too, that he wanted me to hit him first. That's what kids do. They wait to see who punched who first. They do that sometimes. So he was saying to me all these names to me. I think he called me, what did he call me? Something like cracker. Cracker? What's cracker got to do with anything? I found out later that's one of the nicknames the white people get. But you're a cracker. It's a negative, kids. Very negative. But are names really going to hurt you? That's my question. It wasn't hurting me. Call me anything you want. Just don't throw no punch at me. So then he could see that wasn't inciting him, inciting me. He was getting excited, but I wasn't. And that really, really upset him too. And I could tell that this guy had been in fights previously because he still had black and blue on his face and his arms. So I don't know what the story was with that, but apparently he was a fighter. And after he saw I wasn't going to do anything, know what he did, kids? Do you know what he did? He spit in my face. I got spit going down my face. And tell you what, my subconscious energy was ready to go. But after I wiped my face off, I looked at this man, and there was something that went through me. It went through me like, kind of like a pity. A pity, because I looked at his face and I saw that he had been beaten up before. Maybe even as a little baby or a child, or maybe that's how he got there, or whatever the reason was. It looked like he had been in a lot of fights, and maybe he lost quite a few too. And I became thinking and saying, I know I can take this guy, and I'm just waiting for him to hit me or try to hit me. And then I was thinking, it was more than all that. It was where I was really feeling sorry for him, see, because I knew better, and he didn't, on so many levels, that he was believing a lie, which I couldn't even explain to him that he was being told a lie because he believed it. And that's how lies are, kids. When we believe a lie, we don't know the truth yet. And nothing I could tell him was going to change his mind. And that's the way it is in life sometimes, kids. You can tell people the truth, and they think it's a lie, see? And that's why we're here. We're here to discern between the truth, which is positive, the lie, which is negative. And that is one of the main reasons we're here, to be able to discern between light and darkness. That's why we're here, kids. A lot of us haven't learned that or have any inkling of an idea that's why we are here. That's what we're here for. We're a learning planet, and we're all at different levels of learning. So there's no way I could hit this guy now. And now it's been quite a few minutes in there to where, do you know what happened? The big door opens up. And who's standing there? About 3 guards. And the guy that I took his job, and Slim, the guy with the knife. They're all in amazement that people are still standing, because the guards immediately say, "Fight!" It's like they were maybe looking for one too. There's no fight in here. And then now they're really angry at these 2 guys that dragged them away from wherever they got drugged to see 2 people calmly discussing things, calmly discussing life. Because we both looked at the guards and said, "Fight? What are you talking about?" And I said, "Yeah, I was just bringing him in here to talk about these blueberries over here. Were they really okay or not to be served? These blueberries look a little on the, moldy side, maybe. I don't know. What do you guys think?" It was like they were really, the guards were upset. The other guys were upset. Well, first of all, the guards were upset that they got drugged to a fight that wasn't there. And you know how fights are, kids. When you, "Hey, fight, yay!" There was no fight. There was no proof of a fight. So what I'm saying on this is, kids, I had more of a heart flame for this guy that I had to say, he has been taken advantage of on many different levels. And for me to go and do what I said I was going to do, have that fight, it would have been so negative and not on a positive thing. And that's what I'm telling you, kids. It's not necessary to have a fight, not to ever start one, not to ever run from one. You know about the rules that I went through. You don't start, you don't run. You're going to arm wrestle first, which I didn't do. If you got to arm wrestle or fight, afterwards you shake hands. And if it is more than you and that guy, it's the gang. The gang. You casually go over to the biggest guy, knock him out. And 5th rule, never ever ever hit a girl. I think we know the rules by now. So that was just one of the little stories I have for you for when I was in jail. There's more. But for right now, it's the hot beans that were all over Uncle Martin, that he could have just stood up at that point and went to town. But I held back because I knew about the emotions of our subconscious. That's how we have our emotion. Our conscious self has no emotions. It's our subconscious that gives us our emotions. And it's our higher self that gives us a guidance. And I think that's what was kicking in right there at that point in the cooler for Uncle Martin, is I had control over my emotions. And that's where consciously now I was weighing the things out. And as well I was weighing the things out, that higher self came in to say, "Look at this guy. Look what happened to him. Look how many times that's happened to him. This guy, it just spit in your face. Is he really worth it? Is he going to learn anything?" He apparently didn't learn because he's done this a lot. And maybe I could teach him something by, getting spit in the face and saying, "Hey, unless you throw a punch at me, I cannot do anything to you," is how I was taking it. So I hope that helps somebody understand not to ever go to jail, kids, and to stay out of jail. But you kids are going to do what you're going to do. And hopefully it's going to be always positive. You're going to learn one side or the other. You do positive or negative, you're going to learn. Hopefully Uncle Martin's giving you a little story of, I don't know, some kind of growth you can grow by. And if not, it's just nothing else. It's a cute little true story for you on this Sunday that I've gone for 2 and 2 now. So I won't see you again until next Sunday. So until then, I want you all to listen to your parents and guardians, to study hard, to read, read, read. Don't believe anything, put it on the back shelf until you apply it. But you will be able to get an A when you talk to your subconscious. We want an A. You'll get one. So until we see you again next Sunday. Everyone, aloha and be well.